All right, welcome back to the show. We've got Boston butt for you today, and we're going to be making Boston butt kebabs out of this. We're going to show you how to cut this up, season it, get it ready for the cooker. Stick around, don't go anywhere. So what you're going to need for this: onion powder, black pepper, 16 mesh. You're going to need a lemon, oregano, and some kosher salt. So we're just going to get started on this meat right now. And since we're kebabbing this Boston butt, we're just going to start breaking it down. Now, the skews I use, they're not round, they're flat skewers. So what we're cutting these into is like squares. And they're just going to go on our skews for these kebabs. So this is how you want them. If I was putting this on like a round skewer, I might even go half of that. But my skews are pretty big, so we're gonna keep these pieces pretty big. We'll just cut that one there like that. And that's kind of the size that you want them, into cubes. So let's just cube these up. In the bowl they go. Now some of this fat that's on here, when this crisps up on the grill, it's amazing fat. If you look at this fat, I mean, if I were to cure this like bacon, this is basically what it is. And you just don't want all that fat in your mouth. So what I do is just kind of come in here and cut off some of that fat. And I save it. I could use it, I could render it down. I could make some oil out of it. And I use it to fry stuff in. So that piece of fat right there, we're just gonna trim that off. And off to the side they go, and into the bowl they go. Pieces like this, just trim them up a little bit. Take all that fat off. And some of the pieces I'm gonna leave fatty because I like those fatty pieces and they burn up nice in the fire and give that nice charred effect. So that's gonna be that. I'm gonna finish cutting this up. I just want to show you how we're doing it right now. Just cut off that fat like that. And I'm gonna get the cutting on here, and I'll meet you right back here. Stick around, don't go anywhere. Okay, so we got this cut up now, and we're gonna show you our next step. Next step is going to be to start to put your spices in here. Now one thing, when you buy spices from the store, I mean, you can put whatever you want to put on your meats, but don't buy any spices that already have salt in there. Garlic, salt. That means it's salt and garlic. Onion, salt. Onion and salt. So if you keep putting all these spices in your meat, if I overdo the onion powder, there's no salt in here. By the time I put the next spice, more salt, more salt, more salt, more salt. That's why a lot of people over salt their food. So I'm just gonna put a good amount, a good douse of this onion powder in here. And just mix it. And my salt I put last so I can control the amount of salt that I put in. The salt and pepper, I can control that. So here we go, nice douse of the onion, get it seasoned. As soon as you start to see it, you know, covering the meats, like that, and all the meats look covered, you're good to go. All right, I'm gonna put a little bit more of that. Now, I have black pepper and oregano left, and salt. So we're gonna put the oregano in. I buy the big things, but just for this show, I actually filled up this little tiny one, but I usually buy a big one and I dump it into little ones. Always buy the big one. It's cheaper. All right, so we got our oregano in there. I don't put too much because it's dry oregano, and dry oregano could be very overpowering. And we're coming in with our black pepper. And this is 16 mesh. So you don't want to over pepper because they're small pieces, and just go easy on the pepper. And you can also put whatever you like in here. So if you wanted to just season something like this with just a salad dressing, it's got the oil, it's got the garlic, it's got everything in there, you could dump salad dressing, a nice salad dressing mix over top of this. Whatever you want from the store, whatever your favorite is, just dump it over top of this and just let it marinate overnight. And that's it for the pepper. All right, and the last thing I'm gonna put in is my salt, because I wanna be able to control my salt. When I put my salt, I start turning. I add little by little and turn. At the end, you can always put more salt in your food. Can't take it away. So if you over salt something, it's done. See that? Just coming in here. A little bit more salt. And just keep turning. Just like that. Just putting sprinkles of it in there. And last but not least, we're gonna turn around and put a lemon in here. There we go. This lemon is gonna give that nice lemony flavor. Don't worry about the seeds. We'll get them out of there when we're stirring these up. But you want a good amount of lemon in there. There you go. And just turn it. This was a 4.5 pound roast. So I feel just one solid lemon, that's all you need. Just like that. I'm gonna put my hand over here, collect some of the seeds, but the rest of them, I'll get those out when I'm skewing up. All right, that's it. This is gonna go in the fridge. I usually marinate overnight and skew them up. But just for the sake of this video, I'm gonna skew them up. We're gonna get right back to you, show you how to skew these up. And in the fridge, they go skewed up to marinate overnight. Stick around, don't go anywhere. All right, so we got our meat and we have our skewers. So let's show you how to get this on, skewer it up. All right, let's put these nice skewers to the side. I got these out of Turkey, probably almost 25 years ago. Can't find them anymore. So that's it. I would love to leave a link in the description, but they came from Turkey. So we're gonna show you how to skew these up. And this is what I do. I put the meat on like that. I only go up about that far. So I'm ready for the next one. And this is the nice part about using these skewers that are flat like this, because your stuff doesn't roll around. So if you have food on here, it's not gonna roll around like a round skewer. Also, I like to leave my meat on by itself. So in other words, I'm not gonna put onions and peppers and everything lined on here. I make my own veggies off to the side, because if you put the onions and the peppers on here, and if it gets in between the meat, like a pepper, when this is cooking, you want this meat to kind of melt into the other piece of meat. So you have to turn it to pull it off, because they're cooked in together, and that's what you want to do. Otherwise, you're gonna have a mess with these skewers with your food rolling around, and your peppers are falling off, and your meats are going to one side, your peppers are going to the other. Just not good. So if you're gonna make your skewers up, veggie skewers and then meat skewers, it's a lot easier. All right, so I'm gonna get to skewing up a couple more of these pieces. Just like that. Trying to be careful not to poke myself and get through that. There we go. This is why I do nice and easy, because if you come through here and poke yourself, you're in bad shape. All right, there you go. So let's get to skewering these things up, and I'll get right back to you when they're all skewed up. Not gonna make you watch this. Stick around, don't go anywhere. All right, so we're all skewed up. And the last finishing touch on this before we get out onto the cooker is a little spray oil. Just like that. All right, she's oiled up. She's gonna marinate overnight, and then right up into the cookers we go. Beautiful. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, we're at the cooking stage. So we're firing up the Smoky Joe today. It's Weber's Kettle Grill. It's the smallest one that they have to offer. And I'm just gonna show you my fire setup. But no further ado, let's get it on. So this is my setup. I have this Weber sitting inside another grill. And I like to improvise. Just nothing's etched in stone. So a lot of things with barbecue or anything you do in life could be done the creative style. So this right here is a basket I have for indirect cooking. It's made by Weber. And they go on each side of the 22. I have my wood set up here. I have my fire starter in the middle down here. And I'm gonna light this up. We're gonna put the kebabs here, and we're gonna cook those indirect. After we cook them over the fire, they get put on this side, which I'll show you after we set that up. But basically it's set up in indirect mode. You can see the holes down at the bottom, they're wide open. And that's my setup. So with no further ado, let's light this fire and let's get it on. So our fire's lit. What's gonna happen, this is going to get nice and fired up, and I want it to get a little white. I got some used charcoals inside of there because I don't throw away my charcoals. So I kind of sift through the good ones and put them back in there. So they're gonna light up pretty fast, and they have a lot of flavor from all the drippings down. That's why I like using used charcoals. So we're gonna cook these kebabs right over this side of the fire. I'm gonna take this grate, put it on here, and then after I put the kebabs on and fire them up, they go to that side. Then I'm gonna wrap them, come out with some aluminum foil, and then we're gonna put some spices in there and herbs. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna wrap them with some herbs and some spices and some onions, and we'll get them wrapped, and then they get cooked indirect. Stick around, don't go anywhere. All right, we're ready to put this on. Now, I got some lemons in the back, I got some butter, and I got some onions. So I'm gonna show you what to do with that in just a second. Here's our kebabs. They're ready to roll out. Our fire is ready. And that's how you want that fire. Let's get the grate on here. It's not gonna fit 100% with this, but it's all right. So what we'll do is just kind of get the grate fixed on there, just like that. And we're gonna start with maybe 2 of these kebabs. Here we go. Because when that flame starts shooting up, it'll cook them. Now, we don't have to worry about charring up every part of it, but the nice thing about having the stick is that you can move them around. You can put them in that direction, you can put them together like that. So right now, we're just gonna let them cook directly over that hot fire. Now, I have some wood over here to my right, and it's just sitting on top of the cooker. I got a couple extra briquettes up here just in case I got to throw in just a couple extra briquettes in case my fire starts getting weak. I'll leave them on the top, and that's what you're looking for, just like that. Just let them cook. They're not going anywhere. Now when that fat starts dripping down in there, this fire is going to get a little bit nuts. which is all right because we're going to move them to the side anyway. But you want to char them up. You want that flavor, you want that char, and that's what you want. You want to get that on there. See that? They're starting already. Now, with kebabs, you want to kind of move them around. Like that one. You can pull them away, push them up. Now you can see that spot running a little hot there. And if I want, I could just bring it back like that. It's not going anywhere. My hand is right here. It's not going anywhere. You could leave your hand right on it so it doesn't fall. But when that fat starts dripping in the fire, it gets that fire crazy. It's going to be an easier job. That's why I like a nice high fire. Let's see what we got going on over here. All right, we're going to get these charred up. And we're going to get them off to the side. And when we come back, you'll see them nice and charred up. And see what our next step is going to be. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. Just cooking these nice and slow. And because I crowded them, my fire's not getting crazy. I packed a lot of coals in there. The coals are burned down already because I used coals that have already been fired, just to keep that flame down like that and get that flavor in there. And we're just turning slowly. See that? Right over the fire. Nice and slow. Just like that. And there you have it. So we're going to let these fire up some more. Let them get nice and charred up. And when we come back, we're going to show you the next step. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, we're back and we're just cooking away here. Now, I turned these kebabs to the side. See, the fire is running this way. And I had them a long way. I turned them to this side so I can hit this part of the kebab. So just turn them around that way so you can hit that part of the kebab, and then you'll turn them back. So just, you gotta move some food around. So that's what happens when you cook, especially with kebabs. You're constantly kind of moving them around to get everything browned up. So once you get this browned up and all the edges are brown, I'll show you the next step. So we're gonna let this brown up. I'm gonna turn them around. I'm gonna get everything even, and we'll meet you right back here again. Just want to show you the cook. Stick around, don't go anywhere. All right, so we're almost there right now. Now I just want to show you something. I'm getting these kebabs over the fire. So I got them over the fire, but I'm using two hands to work this. So if you look, I'm holding here, holding there, and then I can flip the middle one. See what I'm doing? So I don't want these to go anywhere. I got them all the way back. If I let these go right now, I'm coming right off the fire with them. They're going on the ground, and that's not good. So I'm moving them around like this. And I'll probably flip. You can flip these two out. Put this one over here. Put that one in the middle. And now you can just kind of play around with your skewers. Put that one, pull that one back. Needs to be a little bit more to that fire. It's charring up, so I'm using my hands as a guide. See that? I'm guiding that kebab to the part where I want what pieces to char up. So this way I get everything nice and even. Now that one there, I'm not happy with that one there. It still needs some char, but as I go up and over and to the side, I can get a hold of that one. See that? That tip is not done yet. I'm not happy with that, so I got that in the fire. And that's what we're doing. So I want to show you guys that because it's a very important move. And you really can't move the fire, so most of the time you're moving the food, and that's what you want. So let's continue getting these charred up, and we'll see you right back here. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. So our kebabs are off. They're out of the fire. Now what I'm going to do now at this point, since I got them all nice and charred up, anything that doesn't look like that it needs more time, you can always just hold it and put it right back over the fire. But I'm looking pretty good here, so this is what we're going to do. We're no longer using that grate that I put over here, and we're just going to line the floor up with this aluminum with some onions. Because we're going to put our kebabs right on top of these onions. They're going to create moisture. They're going to keep that meat moist as we're cooking it. Just like that. We got some onions. We got lemons. All that nice moisture is just going to soak down in here. And when we get this wrapped up and we're turning it, it's almost creating like a rotisserie inside this aluminum. Just like that. And put your skewers right in there. Just like that on top of that bed. Now we're going to put some more onions in between, because we're going to put our other skewer in here. Just like that. Right. Here we go. Doesn't matter if they're not perfect. Just get them in there. Get your lemons in. Space them out a little bit. And then follow by butter. The whole stick right in there. Got a whole stick of butter. Just like that. All right. So now that that's in there, let's start wrapping. Sort of wrap the tips. Keep it tight. Oops, I almost forgot my last skewer. That goes on top. Now we wrap. All right, here we go. Just put those up there. Get them in there. Just like that. Now we're wrapping. I knew I forgot something. All right. Gotta count your skewers. And I'm gonna make sure they're even on this end and on this end. And as I wrap this, I'm gonna make sure the ends are tight, they're hot. So make sure you don't burn yourself. Followed by another piece of aluminum. We're gonna put it this way, going across. Just like that. Get it tight. Just like that. This way. You're good. Now what I am going to do is just put it right back on the fire, and I'll probably put another piece of aluminum here as it starts to cook. And I can kind of close it up and close it in because you don't want anything to get out. So I'm taking my hands at the end and I'm just kind of ripping the aluminum or pushing it in just like that, so it could just get a tight wrap around that skewer. See how I'm pushing it in? That's what you want. You don't want anything leaking out. So now that skewer is in there, and I'm gonna just put my hands in there like that. Do the same thing with this side. Just like that. All right, there you go. So it looks like a nice big kebab here. Then we're gonna go right back over the heat with it. Just like that. And we're just gonna turn and turn and turn. Just like that. You'll turn and turn. Just like that. That's what we're gonna do. This should take about another 30 minutes to get all that meat nice and tender. And I can add to my coals as I'm going. I could just throw some coals in there and keep my heat up. But the heat will come through that side, so you gotta make sure you turn it, otherwise you'll burn it. So every 10 minutes, I'm just gonna flip it over. Every 10 minutes, just flip it over. Stick around, don't go anywhere. The time has come, and we're on the chopping block. With no further ado, let's get it on. All right, so here we go. I'm just gonna bring this over. We're gonna cut into this now. So what you'll do is just take your knife and just slice through. You're not gonna cut any of the meat, and if you do, it's really not gonna matter. So let's bust that open and show you guys what we got here. Look at that. So they look beautiful, and you can still see the steam coming from these guys, and everything is cooked down and they are tender. All right, give me just a second and we're gonna get this over to the chopping block. Let's just move this out to the side. So we'll go this way, just like that. And we'll move this right here. And let's get this onto the chopping block. Here we go. Now what I do is just take a fork and you just pull them off just like that. Look how tender those come off. It's got a little of the onions on there. Now everything just cooked down. I kept it nice and moist. And let's just get into that. Now I'm gonna take the knife first and show you how this tender just falls apart, fork falls apart. Just like if you cook the Boston butt on the grill. So this way you're not, this is a tough piece of meat. And look at that, nice and tender, just fork pulls apart. This way you know it's tender. Pitmaster taste. That is tender. It's almost like a rib. It's got a little tug to it. Some nice bite, and it's beautiful. And that's it. So, I'm gonna get another piece of this. This is that good. Get this plated up. We'll see you right back here. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, and there it is. Boston Butt Kebabs. And there you have it. If you like this video, and many more to come, don't forget to hit that little like button and subscribe and hit that little bell so you get the videos first. And without no further ado, thank you for joining us. I'm gonna get a little piece of this meat.